Hi, Gene here with my thoughts for today. But before we get to those thoughts for today, I've been meaning to do this. I should do it more often. I keep forgetting, but I've gotten some new subscribers, and thank you. I cannot thank you enough or too many times, new subscribers. I really appreciate it. So I wanted to remember this time to thank you all. I really appreciate it. Now, somebody else I want to thank, from whom you'll be hearing in a moment, someone we should all be thanking is Elon Musk. He's been amid the death threats and the firebombing of the Tesla dealerships. And, well, we all know what's been happening, the pressure that's been put on him. And including, by the way, some House members, I think members of Congress, who have been openly attacking Elon Musk, but behind the scenes buying Tesla stock. So there's your little hypocrisy update for the day. But we're going in a moment to Elon Musk. He gave a presentation recently. It was he and it was also Antonio Gracias. Antonio Gracias is one of the DOGE people, one of the people on the DOGE project. So it's Elon Musk and Antonio Gracias, and they're talking about Social Security fraud. Now, as you probably also already know, the DOGE people have been uncovering a lot of fraud, including and wasteful spending, especially. Well, the two go together. But especially of special interest to all of us, Social Security, because that program is always on the verge of bankruptcy or whatever. There's a lot of waste and fraud in there. But I am willing to wager, unless you saw the video that I'm about to show you, that you do not know how bad it is. And I'm talking about, as you'll hear in a moment, more than just fraud. As you're going to hear Elon Musk himself explain that these people well, you know what? I'll let him explain. There you go. Keep you in suspense here. Rather than me tell you what he's going to say, just let him say it, and then I'll have a brief comment afterwards, because it's part the Social Security. What's happening with Social Security, and you're wondering, well, there's a wider, we'll call it what it is, a plot that is involved in all this, and here's Elon Musk to explain it.
And then you'll notice there's a strange trend here, where how many Social Security numbers were issued. Do you want to?
Yeah. So let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system.
You want to talk about a lot of maybe?
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, This literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister are all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed us in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border, they do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which to appear at a judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people, okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we map the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep,
No.
They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through, on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why.
Right.
And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote. In this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already. That is already happening. Right now. Yeah. And the truly disturbing thing, though, I just want you to know this, a truly disturbing thing to me, and the darkest thing about this to me, the voter fraud is terrible, but the human tragedy this created is extraordinary, because what you don't understand, and people don't know, and Americans need to know, that's why I'm here, is that human traffickers made $13 to $15 billion off of this, okay? That's the money that's going around the world, moving people around the world to our borders because of these incentives. How does it work? What happens? Hey, if you're in Africa and you're in Central America, you got to walk up through Mexico, through Central America. Who do you pay? You pay the narcos, you pay the traffickers, right? And we were told by ICE, it's between $20,000 and $500, depends where they pick you up, to walk across all those countries and get all the way up to the border. Where's that money goes? It goes to the cartels. It goes to human traffickers, right? There are 30,000 children that have not appeared on the notice to appear already. ICE knows this. 30,000 children, 270,000 children didn't even get notices to appear. ICE told us that kids are being trafficked back and forth across the border to complete families to make this easier. This is a human tragedy. It's not just the money, it's the people and the kids. And how many of these people died on the way up here that didn't make it in? What happened to them? We created a system here that created a incentive for people to come and be taken advantage of by these traffickers. And how do you think they get paid? What, you're in Africa, Central America, you got $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 to pay these traffickers? No, you don't. What happens? You come in, then you owe them the money. You're an indentured servant. If you don't pay them, what happens? What do? They kill your mother, they kill your brother, they kill your family. What happens next? That's what we discovered. And I have to tell you, it's tragic to me. The tragedy, the human tragedy this created is extraordinary. That's the real problem. This is America. We don't do this here in America.
Yeah.
We don't do this here in America.
You just saw and you just heard. Social Security, it's more than just getting benefits. Now you see that the idea behind throwing open the borders is not it's more than just, well, we don't believe in nations, we don't believe in borders, and they want to change the country. They want to bring, the Democrats, the left, they want to bring in unlawful aliens, flood the country with them, and then give them the right to vote against you and me. And fortunately that has stopped, but this is to keep what you need to keep in mind. It's only stopping because Donald Trump is president, and hopefully it would continue to be stopped as long as we have Republican presidents. But if we have, if he were not president, if Kamala Harris were president right now, what you just saw would still be going on, and all the spending too, because there would be no DOGE, there would be no investigation, no finding all this fraud, and what you just saw. So the more important thing to keep in mind is the risk that we take of what you just saw resuming if we have another Democrat president, let alone, God help us, a Democrat president, House and Senate, and a liberal majority on the Supreme Court. So you see that's the situation that we're put in. Now I'll end on this. It's a little digression, because I remember when I was younger, the differences between the parties were not so great. You had somebody like Henry Jackson, Scoop Jackson. He was very liberal, but very strong on defense, very strong on a number of issues that we all had in common as Americans. But those days are over. Then it did not matter too much. It didn't really matter that much whether Nixon or Kennedy won in the 1960 election. It really did not matter that. I mean, of course, there are changes that things would be different, but it's not like today. Today, unfortunately, we're getting to the point where the election for a local dog catcher is going to have national ramifications. So I guess we'll just leave it there. I wish I could end on a happier note, but after what I just showed you, it's kind of hard. So I guess a happy note will be thanks again for all the new subscribers. If more of you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this. This is the end of the video. Share this video with anyone you think could benefit from it. Your comments always welcome in the comment section below the video. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.